Hello everyone, my name is Lenny Artajo, presented 2080. Ang nire-report ko ngayon is activity number 7. It's all about Hvac Technology. Inability for equipment is Hvac. Hvac is the many demands of properly engineered system and the habitable spaces, and enables them to develop to prevent the transfer of vibration to the shock systems. Vibrations propagate via mechanical waves and certain mechanical linkages contact vibration more efficiently than others. Mix all. Passive vibration isolation makes use of materials and mechanical linkages and absorb to dump these mechanical waves. Achieve the vibration isolation involves sensor and actuators that produce disrupted interference and cancel out incoming vibration.
The Hvac air conditioning isolator is designed to provide a hurricane-resistant and vibration-reducing mounting for residential air conditioning condensers. The purpose of this video is to give a brief overview of the installation process for prospective installers. Generally, the air conditioning condenser is placed on top of two Hvac air conditioning isolators and fastened down using provided brackets. A complete installation consists of an air conditioning or heat pump condenser, two Hvac air conditioning isolators, and 4 attached brackets with associated fasteners. The first step for installation is to determine proper placement of the isolators to fit the subject condenser. Measure the width of the condenser, minus 2 or 3 inches from either end. If the condenser is rectangular in footprint, measure across the longest face. This distance determines the spacing of the isolators under the condenser. Many manufacturers add dimple features to the bottom of their condensers to raise them off the mounting surface and facilitate condensate drainage. When these features are present, the isolators should not be placed where they support the condenser on the recessed surfaces. The isolators should be instead placed where the condenser can rest on these dimple features. Isolator spacing measurements should take this into account. Place the isolators on the mounting surface at the distance measured in the previous step, ensuring that the isolators are parallel to each other. The isolators should be attached to the mounting surface using hardware specific to that surface. When mounting the isolators to fibrous materials, plastics, or composites, a minimum 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch lag screws should be used. When mounting to sheet metal, angle steel, or other metals, a number 12 by 3/4 inch self-tapping screw should be used. Using a magnetic tip driving bit appropriate for the fastener used, drive the screws to the bottom of the isolator using the access holes in the top. It is recommended that 6 fasteners be used in each isolator in the pattern shown. When the isolators have been properly placed and fastened, place the condenser gently on top of the 2 isolators, centering the unit appropriately. It is recommended that 2 people are involved with the placement of the condenser to prevent possible injury. Ensure that the isolators are properly placed on any dimple features in the base of the condenser. For best vibration isolation results, adjustment of the placement of the condenser on the isolators is critical. When the condenser is placed upon the isolators, the tops of the isolators are compressed downwards, separating the top from the bottom and preventing vibration from traveling directly through the metal parts into the mounting surface. In many condensers, however, the center of gravity is not in the center of the cabinet, but is displaced because the compressor is mounted away from the geographic center. This causes the isolator gaps to differ in size, which may affect the performance of the isolator. The size of this isolator gap is critical to the vibration isolation performance of the isolators and should be adjusted as follows. Move the condenser on top of the isolators such that the isolator gap on both isolators is between 5/16 of an inch and 13/32 of an inch, noting that the condenser may not necessarily be in the geometric center of the isolators. This distance should be measured in the middle of the gap as shown. After the condenser has been properly located upon the isolators, attach the 4 supplied brackets to the top of the isolators using the included self-tapping screws. Position the brackets such that the face of the bracket is flush with the mounting surface of the condenser, and drive 2 self-tapping screws per bracket into the isolator to secure. Ensure that the newly driven screws do not interfere with any of the internal components, including the bottom of the isolator. Screw locations other than those provided may be used if interference is observed. Drive 2 self-tapping screws per bracket into the metal base of the condenser, using the appropriate holes in the bracket. Use care not to interfere with the aluminum cooling fins or the refrigerant lines inside of the condenser. If the base of the condenser is plastic, ensure that the self-tapping screw is placed in a location where it penetrates both the plastic base and the sheet metal side of the condenser. Check that the condenser freely moves upon the isolator in both directions. Ensure that subsequent connection of the refrigerant high side line, low side line, and electrical supply line do not interfere with the condenser's ability to move freely upon the isolators. Sufficient play in the refrigerant lines and electrical supply lines should be allowed. For more information and detailed installation instructions, please see the instructional booklet included with the isolators or on SciCon's website at www.sciconlimited.com.